Welcome to ePadasala lecture series in computer science. The paper is Design and Analysis of Algorithm. Module is Decrease and Conquer Design Paradigm. So far we concentrated on the divide and conquer strategy and we discussed how to apply that design paradigm for solving number of problems. In this module we are going to discuss about a new design paradigm called the decrease and conquer strategy. The learning objectives of this module is to understand the concept of decrease and conquer. This is a variant of divide and conquer strategy, and we are going to apply this design paradigm for problems like insertion sort and topological sort, which are two popular problems in computer science, and these problems are very useful in number of applications. We want to discuss about the permutations and subsets, and we will also discuss algorithms about how to generate permutations and subsets. Let us start with the introduction of decrease and conquer paradigm. In decrease and conquer paradigm, what we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce the problem instance to the same problem with smaller instance, and we are trying to solve the problem of the smaller instance. And once the smaller instance problem is solved, then the solution is extended to get the solution of the original larger instance by means of certain additions. This design paradigm is very popular and is considered as the variant of divide and conquer strategy. There are various problems that can be solved as part of this paradigm. This is one of the simplest problem we can state to illustrate how it is done. Let us take the simple problem of finding a power n. So, this problem can easily be solved by stating this problem as a into a power n minus 1. This is true if n is going to be greater than 0. So, now you can see exactly what is happening. The problem a n is reduced to a n minus 1, and by multiplying a we are going to get the solution of the original problem. This what we are calling as the insertion or union or addition or multiplication to get the solution of the larger instance. There are different types of decrease and conquer strategy. So, these are some of the most popular things. How we are reducing the instance means, based on that we can say decrease by constant, where the decrease is in terms of constant, and decrease by constant factor. Decrease by constant means often it is 1, but whereas in the constant factor it can be more than 1, and we can say decrease by a variable factor, where the factors will change depending on the context. In decrease by constant, many problems are solved. We are going to discuss about the insertion sort. So, a popular sort whose results can be used as a benchmark for comparing with the better algorithms. For example, if somebody designs an algorithm, he can compare the results with some base algorithm, where the base algorithm can be some sort of problems like insertion sort or something like selection sort or something. Topological sort is also decreased by constant algorithm, and generating permutation is also going to be an example of this particular paradigm. In this module, we are going to concentrate mostly on these problems. We are also going to discuss about how to generate the subsets. Decrease by constant algorithms are the binary search and the bisection method, exponentiation by squaring, Russian peasant multiplications. This we will discuss in the next module, and the variable size decrease and conquer algorithms are algorithms like Euclid algorithm to find a GCD and selection by partition and NIM like games. So, in this module we are going to concentrate on the decrease by constant factor algorithms. First we will take the insertion sort. So, you can recollect how the decrease and conquer strategy works. A problem is reduced to a problem of a smaller instance. So, that means the problem of sorting an array from 0 to n minus 1 is reduces to a smaller problem. The problem is same as the original, but with a reduced instance. So, that means you can see very well insertion sort A 0 to n minus 1 is reduces to insertion sort A 0 to n minus 2. So, now the n minus 1th element should be added into the sorted list A 0 to n minus 2. So, that we will get the sorted list for A 0 to n minus 1. So, in other words, this is how the insertion sort is what you say applied. Informally, insertion sort means these things. So, if you want to sort, so we have to find where exactly this element should go. So, that means we have to find the proper place for this particular element, and once a room is created for this element, then the elements starting from that particular point has to be shifted, so that a new room can be created for the element to be added. And once a room is created, then the element can be inserted into that. In other words, the procedure is we want to find a room for the element and create the room by shifting the elements, and once it is created, then try to insert this element. This procedure is what we are calling as the insertion sort. So, this is what the algorithm is going to be. So, insertion sort. So, for I equal to 1 to n minus 1. So, I am going to create a temporary variable where I am going to what you say a of I, then I am creating a loop. Under the loop I am keeping on checking and I am creating the room for that, and once a room is created, then I am going to insert the element. So, this is the numerical example of this particular insertion sort. Now, you can see very well the array to be sorted is given as 88, 43, 68, 92, 23, 34 and 11. So, now we are assuming that the first element to be a sorted one and all other elements are going to be what you say the unsorted elements. So, we are creating a wall. So, this wall separates the sorted element from the unsorted element. So, now we have to apply the insertion sort. As we discussed in the last slide, what we are going to do is we are going to take the element and we want to find out where exactly this fits into. So, that means now we have to take 43 and we have to check where to insert this. So, the insertion position is either before 88 or after what you say 88. So, 43 is lesser than 88. So, therefore, the room has to be created before 88. So, that means now you can see very well the element 43 is inserted before 88. So, that the left hand side of the wall is a sorted one and on the right hand side all the elements are unsorted. So, now I have to insert 68. So, 68 position can be before 43 or between 43 and 88 or after 88. So, since 68 comes between 43 and 88, so now you can see very well this is inserted in between. So, this process is repeated. So, you can see very well one by one all the elements are inserted into the sorted positions. So, now you can see very well 23 is inserted, then 34 is inserted and finally 11 is inserted to get the sorted list, that is 11, 23, 34, 43, 68, 88 and 92. So, this is what the insertion sort is going to be. The complexity analysis of insertion sort is order of n square, which we discussed in the earlier module, and using insertion sort we can what you say sort the elements of the smaller array. Topological sort compared to insertion sort is a sorting of a different category, where we encounter this problem in various problems like course prerequisites, project management, etc. In these problems, what we are asked to do is to sort the elements using the partial order. For example, in the case of the course requirement, I can't take any course that has got certain prerequisites. So, I have to complete all the prerequisite, then only I can enroll for that particular course. In other words, all the elements are having certain order imposed on those elements. I have to sort without violating the order that is imposed on the elements. This kind of sorting is what we are calling as the topological sort. So, the goal of the topological sort is to produce the order that satisfies the constraints given as part of the problem. So, we can easily model these problems as a graph. So, every element corresponds to a vertex in the graph, and every element has got a relation with another item that can be represented as an edge, and we can put a direction. So, based on that certain constraints are enforced. Say for example, if you want to say that the task A should be finished before task B, then we have to put a directed edge between A and B. In other words, we are going to get some graph something like this, where 1, 2, 3, 4 represent the task and all the tasks are connected by various edges. Edges are directed, which conveys certain constraints that are imposed on the problems. So, you can check that this sort of graph is going to be the input for the topological sort. For these sort of things, the graph should be directed acyclic graph. In other words, the graph should not have any sort of cycles. What is the impact of cycle in this problem? Suppose let us assume like this, given to task A and B, if the prerequisite of task B is A and the prerequisite of task A is B, then you can see very well there is a cyclic condition where this sort of problem cannot be solved. So, one of the fundamental requirement of this particular problem is that there should not be any sort of cycle that is present in the graph. Any graph where the cycle is not present is called the directed acyclic graph. In other words, it is called DAGs. So, DAGs are going to be the input for the topological sort. The informal algorithm is going to be like this. We can perform DFS, depth first search, we discussed in one of our earlier modules, where we use stack and then we are trying to visit all the nodes, and by giving the order, reverse order gives the topological order among the various elements. In other words, this problem can be solved using the DFS algorithms. So, DFS algorithm is restated as part of this particular slide. So, you can see how it is invoked. So, we are running DFS and we are checking, and when the vertex is finished, then we are assigning a number, and by using these vertices as the input and by getting the reverse topological order, we can get how the sort can be done. The complexity of this analysis is big O of P plus E, where V is nothing but the vertices and E is nothing but the edges. So, this is the algorithm. So, this is the example for that. So, this is a graph. So, this is a undirected graph deliberately given. So, we are going to start with A. So, we are visiting with node A. So, I am invoking DFS. So, now you can see very well from A, I am going to visit node D. So, now the scenario is like this. From D I can go to E or F. So, I am visiting E. So, from E I can visit F. So, I am visiting the node F, and from F I can visit the node H. So, now you can see very well I have reached the dead end. That means, from here I can't proceed further. So, that means the DFS from the node A results in the visiting of nodes D, E, F and H. So, now I have reached the dead end. So, once I reach a dead end, I can number this. So, I am assigning a number 5 to the node H. Then in the next process, I am assigning the number 4 to F. I visited F from E. So, that means I am assigning number 3 to the node E, and E I visited from node D. Therefore, this is number 2, and finally, A is going to be the number 1. So, that means you can see very well the topological order is going to be the reverse this thing. Therefore, it is going to be A, D, E, F, H. This is what going to be the topological order for this. In other words, using DFS, one can easily number the nodes, and from that we can get the topological order. So, this is another example. So, this is another algorithm called source removal algorithm. So, again a graph is given. So, what I will try to do is I will find a node which does not have any prerequisites. Then once I identify the node, then I will try to remove the source with all edges incident to that. So, this process I will repeat till no vertex is left or there is no source among the remaining vertices. So, this is another algorithm of solving the topological order algorithms. So, I am taking this example. Let us assume that this graph represents 5 courses, and let us assume that the constraint imposed on the graph is course prerequisite. So, that means if I want to do course 3, then I should have completed course C1. So, if I want to do course C4, that means I should have completed course 3. If I want to do course 5, then I should have done both course 3 and course 4. This is a requirement. So, what the algorithm says? Algorithm says we have to find the node which does not have any prerequisite. So, that means I should find a vertex which does not have any in degree, that is what it means. So, now you see from this graph C1 is a course which does not have any prerequisite. So, I will do C1, then I will do C3. So, that means C3 I have completed. I can't do C5 because before that C4 has to be done. So, therefore, I will complete C4 and finally, I will complete C5. In other words, this is the topological sort of this particular problem. Topological sort, as we discussed, is useful in number of situations. One is timetable situations and another is project management, where we have lots of dependency among the tasks. Another useful algorithm that comes as part of the decrease and conquer strategy is permutations. In many algorithms, we have to generate permutations, combinations as well as the subsets. These are certain requirements of many algorithms. For generating the permutations, this sort of algorithms can be used. What is a permutation? A permutation of an set of object is a particular ordering of those objects. For example, let us say if we have a empty set, the possible permutation is null, and if we are given a set of having only one element, you will have only one permutations. But if you are given a set of 2 elements, then the possible permutations are AB as well as BA. So, this is what we are calling as permutations, where we can generate different things for different sets. For example, if the set is consisting of 3 elements A, B, C, you can see very well there are 6 possible permutations possible from A, B, C. So, you can see very well this is what permutation is all about. What is the informal algorithm for this? Suppose let us say if you are given a set of n objects in decrease and conquer, as we discussed, the problem of instance n is reduced to a problem of n minus 1. So, that means we will find the permutations of n minus 1 and this nth element we will try to insert as a union into the existing positions of every permutation of the n minus 1 object. So, this is what we discussed as part of the decrease and conquer strategy. For example, let us assume that we want to find permutation of 3 objects A, B, C. Already we have seen A, B, C, A, C, B are all possible permutations that can arise from this. Let us try to see how this is done using decrease and conquer. The problem instance 3 is reduced to problem instance 2. So, that means you can see very well this problem is now reduced to instance of 2, that is of generating permutations for B and C. We know very well that the permutations of 2 objects A B is A B and B A. Therefore, the set consisting of 2 objects B and C are going to be the permutations of B C as well as C B. So, now we have the remaining object, that is the nth object, that is A. So, this A we have to insert at various positions to get the resultant permutations. For example, these are the positions where I can insert. For example, in B and C I can insert before this, between B and C and after C. So, now I am going to insert A into this. So, if I insert A into this, you can see very well I am getting permutations like ABC, BAC and BCA. So, similarly by inserting A into the remaining things, you can see very well I am getting permutations like ACB, CAB and CBA. This is the kind of algorithm which we can call as the decrease and conquer algorithm for generating the permutations. Randomly generating permutation can be a troublesome. So, for this case a disciplined approach like this will really help. There is one popular algorithm available for generating permutations. It is called Trotter and Johnson algorithm. This was proposed by Trotter and Johnson in 1962 and 63. So, it is a very popular algorithm which uses the concept of directed integers and mobile integers. Let us see what exactly these things are. Every integer is assigned a direction with each component. So, we can use arrows like this to indicate the directions. For example, now you can see exactly how the directions represents. Then the component k is said to be a mobile if it arrow points to a smaller element adjacent to that. So, that means if the adjacent element is smaller, then we can move this object on that side. So, this is the formal algorithm. So, I am generating the permutations while there exists a mobile integer, then find k, then swap with the adjacent, and once this mobile integer reaches the left hand side, then reverse the direction and repeat. Using the same logic of decrease and conquer, we can also generate the power sets and subsets. So, set is a collection of distinct elements. So, this is the example. Subset is if the elements of one set is present in the elements of another set, we can call that as a subset. Suppose if A is equal to 1 comma 2, then the subsets of A are null 1, 2 and 1, 2. The set of all subsets is called the power set. So, this is the formal algorithm. As we discussed, we have to reduce the problem into problem of one instance reduce and then we have to add the nth position. So, you can see exactly a n is added into every set to get the subsets. So, this is example. Suppose if I have 1 comma 2, I am reducing this problem to 1 and I am reducing this further to the null. So, that means from here I can't proceed further. Now, I have to what you say insert. The solution is null, then I am inserting 1. So, that means I am inserting after null, then I am inserting what you say 1 into this to get what you say 1 2, 2 is inserted. So, it becomes 1 comma 2, then 2 1 and null. So, that means you can see very well, first it is null, then it is 1, then 2 is inserted. So, it becomes 1 comma 2, then when I insert 2 into the null it becomes 2. So, that means this is what the subset is. We can easily do that using the binary pattern. So, now you see this table 0 0 0 means null, 0 0 1 means you can see you can add the element 1, 0 1 0 I am adding element 2, then 0 1 1 I am adding the element 2 3, and by repeating this process you can see very well all the subsets can be inserted. So, this is the algorithm. So, you can set the counter, then you are extracting the jth bit of the counter. If the binary digit is 1, then you are going to include that, otherwise you are going to exclude that. Then after that finally you will print all the subsets. What is the complexity analysis? The complexity analysis of this algorithm is big O of n into 2 power n. Certainly you can see very well this is an exponential algorithm whose complexity is very high. In summary, we can say like this: decrease and conquer guarantee solution and it is found to be very effective. Insertion sort and topological sort are very important problems, and permutation subsets we will use in many algorithms, and for generating that in a disciplined manner, decrease and conquer algorithms really help. These are the various references. In this module we discussed about the decrease and conquer, a special type of decrease by constant algorithms. Next module we will discuss about the decrease by constant factor and variable size factor algorithms. Thank you very much.